Before we go into the details of the RFP and the proposal writing, let me introduce our investment platforms. These platforms are the foundation of our investment and are designed to support innovative research and development for global health. As a first step, you need to identify which platform your project will fit into. This slide provides an overview of the 4 GHIT Fund investment platforms: the Target Research Platform, TRP, the Screening Platform, the Hit to Lead Platform, and the Product Development Platform, PD. These platforms cover projects on developing drugs, vaccines, and diagnostics for malaria, tuberculosis, and neglected tropical diseases, our core focus areas, depending on the development stage. We also support projects addressing disease with pandemic potential or those declared public health emergencies. For today's seminar, we will focus on the Target Research Platform and the Product Development Platform, which are our main investment platforms. This slide shows how each platform aligns with different stages of research and development. TRP, the Target Research Platform, supports early-stage research, while PD, the Product Development Platform, focuses on the late-stage product development. We have included references to commonly used development stages or development phases for TRP and PD. Please note that the definition of the development stages or phases differs between interventions. For example, for diagnostics, TRP covers up to phase 1, feasibility and planning, while PD covers the following stages beyond phase 2, design development and transfer. Understanding these definitions will help you select the right platform and award type for your proposals. Now that we have reviewed the development stages covered by each platform, let us move on to the eligibility criteria to be able to apply for RFP. This slide explains the basic requirements to apply for a request for proposals, RFPs. First of all, your project must align with the scope for RFP. That means the disease area, the type of intervention, and the development stage must match what is outlined in the RFP. If your project falls outside of these parameters, it will not be considered for funding. So, before you begin preparing your proposals or ITAs, we strongly recommend reviewing the RFP in detail to confirm that your project is eligible. In addition to project alignment, GHIT requires that proposals be submitted as collaborative efforts. Each proposal must include both Japanese and non-Japanese organizations. Let us break down this partnership requirement. Whether an organization is considered Japanese depends on the location of its headquarters, not its subsidiaries or offices. Group companies are treated as a single entity, so only one should be registered as a representative. Different types of organizations can join the partnership. For example, they can be companies, academic institutions, research institutions, and NGOs. However, for late-stage projects beyond preclinical, a commercial partner is required. What we mean by a commercial partner is an organization that will be responsible for manufacturing, conducting clinical trials, registration of the product to the regulators, and supply of the product to the LMICs. Next, let us go over the organizational information documents required for your proposal. All participating organizations must submit key documents, including a certified copy of registration, financial statements for the past 3 years. For a certified copy of registration, we mean a document which can prove the existence of your organization, such as Tokibo Tohon for Japanese organizations, or a certificate or an official document issued by an authorizing body. In principle, it is required to submit audited financial statements. If your organization is newly established and does not yet have 3 years of financial records, please submit whatever is available at the time of application. Each of the organization must also complete the Exhibit A form, which includes questions regarding financial status, governance, and compliance. All the mentioned documents are mandatory for all partners, regardless of the organization type. Academic institutions also need to submit all the required documents, since GHIT will conduct due diligence based on the submitted information. Depending on the outcome, your proposal may be subjected to funding conditions or may be deemed ineligible. Also, please keep in mind that the maximum duration of the project is 2 years. For TRP, the duration is generally the same, up to 2 years, but some sub-awards have shorter timelines. We will explain these details further when we go over the RFP for the TRP platform. Next is about the roles and responsibilities within the partnerships. In GHIT-funded projects, one organization must be nominated as the Designated Development Partner, or DDP. The DDP leads the proposal preparation and submission process on behalf of the partnership. If the project is awarded, the DDP becomes the sole funding recipient, and it's responsible for distributing funds to other collaborating partners. The DDP also oversees the project performance, manages the use of the investment according to the approved budget, and ensures compliance with the GHIT guidelines. It is also responsible for submitting progress reports and leading progress report calls with the GHIT Fund, which happens typically twice a year. More detailed explanations on the roles and responsibilities of the DDP and the collaboration partners are available on our RFP. With the general eligibility in mind, let us move on to the actual RFPs. Today, we introduce the RFPs for the Target Research Platform, TRP, and the Product Development Platform, PD, which we have just released a week ago. In the following slides, we will walk through the key points of the RFP for each platform. Let us start with the Target Research Platform, or TRP, which supports early-stage research, especially those involving Japanese innovation. Under TRP, there are 3 types of awards: Standard TRP Award, Strategic Innovation and Market Assessment Award, the Pandemic Preparedness and Response Award. The Standard TRP Award supports early-stage research of novel technologies and approaches for drugs, vaccines, and diagnostics. This award supports up to 2 years of research with a maximum budget of 100 million Japanese yen, which is equivalent to approximately $0.7 million. The Strategic Innovation and Market Assessment Award, the SEMA Award, focuses on diseases and technology landscape analysis and market strategy research. This award supports up to 6 months of research with a maximum budget of 50 million Japanese yen, equivalent to $0.3 million. And the Pandemic Preparedness and Response Award, the PPR Award, focuses on pandemic response to support the development of diagnostic prototypes and developing target product profiles, TPPs, for diseases with pandemic potential or diseases with public health emergency. This award supports up to 6 months with a maximum budget of 20 million Japanese yen, equivalent to 0.1 million US dollars. Let me explain to you about each award one by one. Let us start from the Standard TRP Award, which is the main award within the TRP platform. This award supports early-stage research projects that originates from or materially involve Japanese science, technology, or know-how. Projects based on innovations from outside Japan may still be eligible, but only if the Japanese partner plays a critical and indispensable role. If the Japanese partner's role is limited to minor tasks, such as supplying control samples, conducting contract research without a decision-making role, or acting as a consultant, the proposal will not be eligible. Also, proposals must include preliminary data or supporting evidence. Hypothesis-driven proposals without data will not be considered for funding. Standard TRP Award supports projects targeting malaria, tuberculosis, neglected tropical diseases, NTDs, and diseases with pandemic potential or public health emergencies. Now, let us look at the definition of each diseases as well. The definition is the same across all platforms and award types within the TRP platform. For NTDs, we mean the 21 WHO-listed diseases. For TRP, all 21 diseases are within scope. But please note that our funding scope is limited for our product development platform. If you plan to apply for our product development platform after completing your TRP project, please carefully consider the transition. We will explain later, but PD has stricter requirements in general, and specific interventions for specific diseases might be out of scope. For diseases with pandemic potential, there is no fixed list, but we are especially interested in projects addressing one or more virus families with non-pandemic risks. Clear justification with references needs to be provided for why you consider the disease to have pandemic potential. If the disease is included in the NTDs, for example dengue or Zika, we classify your target disease as NTDs. Projects focusing only on COVID-19 or HIV are out of scope. Again, this applies to other award types and also to the product development platform. For public health emergency, the disease must be officially declared as such in at least one country. Again, if the disease is included in the NTDs, we classify your target disease as NTDs. These criteria apply across TRP and the PD platform. Let us now look at the CIMA Award, which stands for Strategic Innovation and Market Assessment. CIMA supports projects that conduct landscape analysis or market strategy research. For this RFP, there are 5 subcategories, each with different disease and project scopes. If you are interested in applying, please refer to the RFP for details. One unique requirement is that the project outcome must be made publicly available, for example, by the GHIT website or publications. Also, applicants must contact GHIT Fund in advance before submitting a CIMA application to make sure that your proposed project will be eligible for the CIMA award. You may consider applying for the CIMA award if your project fits into one of the 5 subcategories that's listed here. In summary, the CIMA award has a shorter project duration of 6 months, with a smaller budget cap of 50 million Japanese yen, and specific focuses aligned with the latest global health landscape. For example, SEMA may be suitable if you need to conduct demand assessment, market research in low-middle income countries, or global healthcare landscape analysis. Please refer to the RFP for full details. And again, contact GHIT Fund before submitting an application. The third TRP award type is the Pandemic Preparedness and Response Award, the PPR Award. This is a new award introduced in this RFP round. It focuses on the development of diagnostic prototypes and target product profiles, the TPPs, to respond to pandemic outbreaks. If you are considering applying for the PPR award, please note that you must contact the GHIT Fund in advance before submitting an application to make sure that your proposed projects will be eligible for this PPR award. Now, let us move on to the Product Development, or PD, platform. This slide outlines the investment focus and budget structure for the Product Development platform. The PD platform supports later stage projects that are closer to reaching patients. This includes lead optimization, preclinical and clinical development, up to activities that support the regulatory approval, including WHO pre-qualifications. Unlike TRP, PD does not have a fixed budget cap. Many PD projects have received more than 100 million Japanese yen, depending on the development stage and the scope. However, co-funding is required for projects in advanced stages. For example, for drugs and vaccine projects in phase 2B or later, at least 50% of the total budget must be co-funded, which comes from other funding sources. For diagnostics projects in phase 3, validation and regulatory, or later, at least 25% is highly encouraged to be co-funded. Co-funding can include financial support from other agencies or in-kind contributions from partner organizations. These are the requirements unique to the product development platform. In addition to scientific merit, PD proposals must demonstrate clear public health relevance and impact. Your project should show advantages over existing technologies and align with global priorities. You should also describe a clear use case and a roadmap for implementation in real-world settings. It is also recommended that your product specifications align with the target product profiles. If no formal TPP exists for your product, you must still demonstrate feasibility, affordability, and a clear indication of unmet needs. These elements are essential for reviewers to understand how your product will contribute to global health. One major difference between the TRP and the PD platform is that the PD has a defined scope table in the RFP. This is a snapshot of the table that outlines what is considered in scope for each disease and intervention. Your proposal must address one or more of the listed needs to be considered eligible. For example, in the case of biliary ulcer, drug proposals targeting shorter treatment durations, less than 8 weeks, are eligible. Vaccine proposals for biliary ulcer are, however, out of scope. Again, we are just showing an example here. Please review the table in the RFP very carefully before preparing your application. Even if you are applying for the TRP, it would be helpful to understand the requirements in the PD platform in case you plan to transition after successful completion of your TRP project.
Now, we've covered the key points on the RFPs for TRP and PD. Let us move on to the next section, Instructions for Proposal Writing. In the following slide, we will walk through the application timeline and key considerations for preparing your proposal. This part is especially important for those planning to submit an application in the current round or in the near future. This slide shows the application timeline for RFP TRP/PD 2026-001. The RFPs were released on October 31st, 2025. The first step is to submit an intent to apply ITA form by 10 a.m. Japan Standard Time on November 27th, 2025. The ITA form is a simple document used to check basic eligibility. Forms are available on each platform page along with the RFP. If your ITA is eligible and approved, you will be invited to submit a full proposal. Usually, it takes within a week to review and get back to you, but in case we receiving numerous proposals at the same time, usually close to the due date, you may take some more time. You will also notify the applicants via email in case the ITA is considered ineligible. Let us move to the proposal preparation and submission. First, proposal documents for this round are not publicly available, will be shared only with the invited applicants. Another important point is that ITA forms will be reviewed on a rolling basis, so we encourage you to submit early to allow enough time for preparing your full proposal. Once your proposal is submitted by 10 a.m. Japan Standard Time on January 16, 2026, your proposal will be reviewed by external experts, not GHIT management team. Each proposal is evaluated by at least 3 external reviewers, and selected proposal will proceed to the selection committee review. A few top-ranked proposals will be invited to an online interview with the selection committee. The final notification of the result is planned for January 2026, approximately 6 months after full proposal submission. One final point about timeline. The next RFP round will open before the results of current round are announced. Therefore, we encourage you to plan with a long-term perspective. For example, if your proposal is not funded in this round, you are eligible to reapply in another round. Thinking ahead will help you build stronger partnerships and prepare more competitive proposals. Before going into the details of the application form, I'd like to share several key points that are essential for preparing a strong proposal. These apply across both TRP and TV platforms, and they reflect what reviewers consistently look for. I will not go through the entire slide today, as we explained this in our previous proposal rating seminar. First is the partnership. As explained in the eligibility part of this webinar, GHIT supports Genius collaborations where the Japanese organization contributes essential expertise or technology. GHIT exists to leverage Japanese innovation for global health, Without a meaningful Japanese scientific contribution, the project does not align with our mission. If you are having difficulty identifying the partner, we recommend reviewing a past funded project on our website. Next is the project timeline. Your proposal scope must be achievable within 2 years, considering your current resource, team capacity, and development stage. Reviewers are experienced product developers. They will quickly notice you if your plan is unrealistic. Now, regarding the concept strengths, reviewers must clearly understand what product you are developing and how GHIT Fund will meaningfully advance it. Your proposal should address questions such as why should GHIT invest in this solution over the other priority? How your product is different from the existing technology? Finally, about preliminary data. Strong proposal including sufficient preliminary data, not just idea. The type and amount of data will vary depending on your platform development stage, but you should clearly explain what data has been generated, when it was obtained, how it was generated, by whom, whether it was your team, a partner organization, or an CRA. There is no universal standard, but each proposal must be evaluated in its own context. In short, your proposal should be scientifically grounded, platform aligned, and demonstrate a realistic plan that GHIT support can meaningfully advance. If you are unsure whether your project is ready, feel free to contact us at the email address provided in the RFP. Let us now look at the documents required for the full proposal submission. This slide shows the list of forms that will be shared with applicants who are invited to submit a full proposal. For today's session, we will focus on the first three: proposal form, budget form, Gantt chart form. Please note that the documents shown here are from the previous round, RFP 2025-002, and as the actual forms for this round may differ slightly. Proposal form, the core document of your submission. It's typically 20 through 30 pages long, and you may attach up to 20 pages of supporting documents. There are different types of the proposal forms depending on the platform and intervention type. PD proposals use separate forms for drugs, vaccines, and diagnostics. TRP proposals use different forms for standard TRP, CIMA, and PPR hours. Please make sure you use the correct form. Additionally, for diagnostic development project under TRP, there is an optional but highly recommended TPP form to outline the target product profile. Other documents, such as the budget form, Gantt chart forms, are the same for all TRP and PD projects. We will highlight some sections of the proposals that are often less described than it should be. First is the milestones and activity table and the project approach section. Those two sections will be the core part of your proposal, where you describe the project activities to be conducted and milestones to be achieved within the 2-year period when GHIT will be funding. In the milestones activities table, you will need to clearly outline the project activity and expected milestones of your project, including the go/no-go criteria and key derivatives. Please make sure that including a numerical go/no-go criteria as much as possible. This table will be used to monitor the progress of your project if it is awarded. Be specific and realistic in defining what you plan to achieve and when. Project approach and method section of the proposal form where you describe how you will conduct the project. This section should be utilized to describe the detail of the activity mentioned in the milestones and the activity table above. You should explain the rationale for your approach, method to be used, who will carry out each activity mentioned in the milestones and activity table. If applicable, you can refer to the published studies or including a supplemental document to support your methodology. For low molecular drug development, provide a molecular structure so GHIT reviewers can comprehensively evaluate the program. All the detail of the GHIT section will help reviewer understand the aim of the activity, the reason for selecting a certain approach, by whom the activity will be conducted, the expected outcome/criteria, and risk mitigation plan, if any. This would be a good time to look at the Gantt chart form, which is submitted as an Excel file. This form is to use to show the timeline of your project activity and milestone. It must match exactly with the milestones and activity table in your proposal form. If there is any discrepancy between the two, your proposal could be considered incomplete and ineligible, with no opportunity to resubmit the correct document. You should use bars for activities and yellow triangles for milestones. Please double-check that timelines are aligned across all forms. Going back to the proposal form, let us highlight a section on the global health needs and impact. This section is especially important for PD proposal. In addition to the scientific merit, GHIT places the strong emphasis on the global health impact of your project. You can demonstrate this by describing the points including the number of the lives potentially impacted, how your product could reduce the disease burden, its contribution to the global health portfolio, aligned with the international strategy such as WHO roadmaps. This is important to outline where project fits in the global landscape in terms of how competitive you are, how your approach differs from, or supersede product in the market or under development. You will also need to provide evidence and reference to support your argument. Let us now move on to the budget form, which is submitted as an Excel file. This form used to detail the financial plan for your project. This slide outlines what costs are allowable and unallowable. Allowable direct costs include personal salaries. These can be requested as long as they are for the proposed project. The names of the personnel and their percentage must be provided. Contractor costs. These can be requested. The names of the contractors must be provided. The collaboration partner's responsibility for managing each contractor must be identified. Material and supplies, travel and accommodation, administrative expense. Indirect costs are allowed up to 40% of the total direct cost. In case you are applying for a platform that has a budget limit, make sure that the total of the direct cost and indirect cost fits within the specified budget limit. Unallowable costs include capital expense such as equipment or facility. Once your project is awarded and activated, you will be required to report budget status every 6 months. You will also be asked to submit a detailed expenditure list and the associated supporting evidence for expenditures. Here are some important instructions for the completing budget form. Fill out only the yellow cell. Do not combine multiple cost items from different categories. Break them down clearly. Use separate rows for each collaboration partner. Ensure consistency with the project budget section in your proposal form. For the TRP proposal, total requested budget, including both direct and indirect costs, must be within the specified maximum amount.
GHIT Fund. Fight neglected diseases through partnerships.